Hey guys, looks like it's beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Hopefully this is going to be a nice treat. Just about everything that I've had from these guys over the years, and now that they've changed their names, hopefully the good beers will continue. This used to be Williamsburg Alewerks, and now they've shortened it up just to Alewerks Brewing Company. And they're out of Williamsburg, Virginia. Evan, good friend of mine that lives here in the Roanoke Valley, brought this over to me a while back. And this is their bourbon barrel porter. Porter aged in oak bourbon barrels, coming in at 9% ABV. I'm not sure if there's any kind of dating. Let's see if I see anything. Yep, it's got it right here on the side of the label stamped 04-15-15. So this was this was put in the bottle April 15th, tax day of 2015. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and November. It's 6 months old. It's 6 months in the bottle. And I don't know how long it was aged in the bourbon barrels. So it's in the bottle, it's 6 months in the bottle. So Evan, thanks a bunch, brother, for sending it over to me, or bringing it over to me. He brought this and something else, I think, and we sat on the deck and had a nice cigar. Well, I won't get into that. He has not been doing craft beers as long as I have, and from what I remember him telling me, he just started getting into them and has some connections here and there. So he picked this one up, and because I hadn't reviewed it, I don't think I have anyway, and I hadn't reviewed it anyway since they changed their name. So if I had reviewed it, it would probably been under Williamsburg Ale Works instead of just the Alewerks Brewing Company. But they do some pretty tasty beers. I don't think I've had a bad one from those guys. So let's get on with this one. Right off the bat, Rate Beer does not have this beer listed. Going to all the beers that they have at Alewerks, it goes from Alewerks Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Pumpkin Ale, Alewerks Bourbon Barrel Amber Ale, then it goes to Alewerks Brewers, and then the Brewmaster Series. So they do not have this beer listed. Beer Advocate does, and they have it listed at the right ABV at 9%. The bottle that I have has a different label than what Beer Advocate is showing here. So a lot of times when breweries change names, I don't know if it changed hands or they just changed their name or whatever, sometimes things change up. And a lot of times from year to year the beers will change. And even if they do the same recipe, sometimes the beers will change. A lot of factors go into brewing beer and brewing it consistently so it tastes the same year after year. Even the amount of hops goes in it, or a different hop goes in it, or whatever. I mean, I've experienced this myself being a home brewer. Brew the exact same beer 2 different times using the same ingredients, the same hops, and they still taste a little different. So that's the way it goes. All right, let's get on with this one, guys. 9%er. This is a barrel-aged porter. Food pairings for this, it says cuisine is barbecue, cheese is buttery beef, good Havarti, Swiss, and since it is a porter, porters and stouts go with your chocolate dishes very well. Meat is beef, smoked meat, and grilled meat. Glasshouse pint, backer, tumbler, mug, style, and Sidell, my favorite glass again. And not recommended for selling unless ABV exceeds average range. Well, at 9%, I think it exceeds average range. I think this beer would probably keep for a long time. I can't think of anything that would keep you from cellaring this beer for 3, 5, maybe even 10 years. 9%, maybe even longer. 9% is going to keep for quite a while. I don't know what would fade on this. I have not introduced coffee or anything special to this beer. It's a bourbon barrel aged porter. So, says here availability is spring on the Beer Advocate, and that's exactly what it has there. Being put in the bottle on April 15th of 2015. Tax Day! That'll be coming up for too long. I hate it. Damn government in your pocket. I mean, somebody always with their hand out or their hand in your damn pocket. Chaps my ass. Alright, nothing else we talk about, so after yesterday's beer, left a very bitter taste in my mouth yesterday. Hopefully this will be a little bit nicer, a little bit sweeter, a little more pleasant. Let's get it into the glass. Evan, thanks again. Well, we're not going to get very much head, so let's go down the center on this. No, it's not generating hardly any head at all. Not even a finger. I mean, it's just barely covering the top of the beer there, guys. Not super carbonated. And it is pitch black. I mean, very dark. Even in the thin part of the glass down here, not getting very much light. Looks very much like a stout in the glass. It really does. Let's get a nose on this one. Oh, getting the bourbon on this. Bourbon and a little hint of the alcohol at 9%. Hints of roasted malt, caramel, toffee, maybe some dark fruit. I'm not getting a lot of chocolate on the nose right now, right out of the fridge. But I am getting the bourbon and a little bit of the alcohol. A little bit of sweetness on the back end there. But the bourbon is definitely there. So let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Evan. Definitely has a little bit of booziness to it now, guys. Not as hidden as it probably should be. A little bit of chocolate on the taste that I wasn't getting on the nose. But being at 40 degrees right out of the fridge, you got a feeling those chocolate notes are probably going to come out just a little bit more as it warms up to room temperature. Let it breathe a little bit. A little more chocolatiness. I got a feeling it's going to have a lot bigger chocolate flavor to it as it comes up to room temperature. So let's do that. Let's let it come up to room temperature. Pour her the remainder of this into a glass and sip on it for a while. See where this one ends up. And like I said, I don't think I've had a bad beer from these guys, whether they were Williamsburg Alewerks or now that they're Alewerks Brewing Company. They do some pretty tasty stuff there in Williamsburg. So, and we'll look. We'll look. Well, I'm going to say we'll look for a date, but the date is on the label. Duh. We know how old the beer is. So enough of that horse hockey. I'll be right back, and we'll do the final chug and grade on this one. I'm probably going to sip on this 45 minutes to an hour. Sipper, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Got a little bit left here. Very tasty beer, very tasty beer. Definitely get the bourbon in this. Slight hints of the alcohol. It subsided a little bit as it warmed up to room temperature. Very nice lacing left on the glass. Roasted malt, bittersweet chocolate, caramel, toffee, dark fruits. Very pleasant. Very enjoyable beer. Like I told you earlier, not had a bad beer from these guys. They do some really tasty stuff at the Alewerks Brewery, formerly Williamsburg Alewerks. Very nice. Very nice. Got the date on the label where you can read it, not digitized on the bottle anywhere. Very nice. I would like to see them put the IBUs on it, but it's not on here anywhere, and I don't have any access on Beer Advocate. A lot of times I don't have it on there, and Rate Beer doesn't even have this beer listed at all. What's up with that? What's up with that? I don't understand. If Beer Advocate has it, why don't Rate Beer have it? So it don't make any sense to me. Let's do the final chug on this one. Fired up a Alec Bradley Tempest Maduro wrapped cigar. Went very well with this beer. Wow. Delicious. Very tasty. Very, very tasty. I love these bourbon barrel aged porters and stouts. Especially when they use fresh run barrels that's not had beer in them before. You really get that bourbon vanilla woody aspect on the beer. And this is no exception. Very nice. Slight hints of the alcohol in this one. That was the only thing that keeps me from giving this a 10, guys. The alcohol is a little more prevalent than what I think it should be for a 9%. I've had beers that are 12 up to 18, 19% that were just as boozy as this one is. So that's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The booziness of this beer is just a little stronger than it should be for a 9%. But bourbon barrel aged usually lends a little more booziness to the beer, especially if it's a fresh run beer. But I think the booziness is just a little strong for this 9%er. That's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I do think it's an A beer. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, guys, it would probably be a 96, maybe even a 97 out of 100. And like I said, Rate Beer doesn't even have it listed. So we'll go over to Beer Advocate. They say 93 in the outstanding range. It is. It is an outstanding beer. It's definitely one to pick up and share with some friends and or your significant other, like I did. She enjoyed it. She thought it was very, very tasty. She loves these bourbon barrel aged beers just as much as I do. So, very tasty beer. A very nice bourbon barrel aged porter. I don't do a lot of the bourbon. There's not a lot of bourbon barrel aged porters out there. A lot of the bourbon barrel aged stuff is the stout varieties of the porter, and this looked like a stout in the glass. It was very dark. It didn't have that ruby red character like a lot of the porters do, but it's a 9%er. A lot of malt used in brewing this beer, so very tasty. So if you've had this one from Alewerks Brewing out of Williamsburg, Virginia, this is their bourbon barrel porter. Very nice. I enjoyed it. So, Evan, thanks again for bringing it by. It was very nice and very pleasant. I would buy this beer again, or buy it. I didn't buy this one, but I would buy it, as long as it wasn't a $20 to $25 bottle of beer. I don't know what he paid for this. Definitely worth $12 to $15 for a 22-ounce bomber of this, especially when they do it in the bourbon barrel aging. That takes up space in the brewery, like I tell you guys all the time, and those beers are a little more pricier than your standard porters, or even just a standard 9% porter when they barrel age it and it sits in that barrel taking up space in the brewery. So if you've had it, let me know what you think on this one, and come on back tomorrow. Let's see what we dig out of the fridge. We got some Firestone Walkers in there. I got 2 Velvet Merkins or Merlins. We may do another vertical. We did a vertical of those double DBAs the other day, and that was pretty pleasant, but that was 2 12%ers that we did, and I shared the other half of those bottles, but that was still 2 full glasses of 12% beers. So I was basically one and done, one review and done for the day after I did that. And I don't know what the Velvet beers are, whether they're that big, but we may do those in the next day or two. So come on back tomorrow. We'll find out together. See you then.